Pasha Paroh, YNet7. Thank you for tuning. Got Tamara back with us today. Going to be talking about,
Hello.
yes, please introduce yourself.
Oh, I just said hello. I'm Tamara Zenobia, and I'm here from Alaska, ready to talk about current topics of the day,
Current,
metaphysical topics. Mhm.
current topics of the day out in Alaska. A lot of activity in Alaska right now. I just learned recently that Alaska didn't have any counties.
Mm, that's true, yes. We're not a county. We're not a county state. Yes.
Huh, that's interesting. So,
hmm
what I want you to speak about today. We've been talking about systems, energies. You know how we do on YNet7. We go all over the place. If your phone rings right now, someone's calling you, or you get an alert. It's a text message, an email.
hmm
On the other side of that, there are some very precise inputs that magically appear or vibrate on the other end, exactly how they were inputted, right? Exactly how they were sent.
hmm
In theory, we could label that teleportation. So, my question that I want to open the floor for you with is if we can teleport the characters and the voice and the image, like we're watching this on the great internet,
hmm
what's stopping us right now from doing the same thing with our bodies?
Um, well, it's interesting. As you say that, what I hear is that, well, one, we can do a vast number, humans, we can do a vast number of things, but we only do a fraction. Well, generally, we only do a fraction of what is possible for us. And the reason why is because over the centuries, we have been programmed. And oh God, more stuff is coming, but I'll line it up the best way that I can. But
Take your time. Take your time.
we've been programmed, or we are programmed for reasons to do things in a certain manner, a certain step, a certain capacity. And I think philosophically, it all has to do with what we're ready for. Are we
Mm,
ready to be teleporting all over the place? That's that cover. I mean, there's the topic of can we teleport, and then there's the topic of should we teleport, right? Should we all be teleporting? And I would say, uh, no, we shouldn't all be teleporting for various reasons, and that's a whole other conversation. But just to stick with, can we? Yes, we can, and here's how. We have to, the first number one thing to do teleportation or anything else is that we have to eliminate the programming from our mind that tells us that we can't, right? In
right.
order for someone to fly a plane or to create something that flew in the air, that the group of people that started that did that had to eliminate from their mind the possibility that it wasn't possible in the first place. Now, mind you, the vast majority of people around them thought, you are out of your mind. That is crazy. We're not meant to be in the air. And the people who did this broke through that energy field of impossibility. They broke through it and they created it. Now, something like metaphysics, and that was done with science and technology and physical components coming together, and bringing it physics, bringing it together so that it could happen. This plane flying in the sky. But when you talk about your body, your physical body leaving right here, right now, this place, and reappearing in another place,
Mm,
that is a whole other conversation because that really does appear to be impossible, even though science fiction TV tells us it is not, right? So, but the science is there. We think it's fake. We oh, TV is TV, it's not real, it's a bunch of fantasy, but there is some truth in these shows, and it's up to us to put together the pieces to create what we know is real and possible. There have been cases reported, documented cases reported throughout time and history of people time traveling, teleporting, and all this is located somewhere, being scientifically studied and researched to understand how and why. To the vast majority of people, it's not real. To a small portion of people, it is real. However, it's a conspiracy, that it's taboo. You don't want to talk about it. And then to another small group of people, not only is it real, they have seen it, they have seen other people do it, but it's a secret. It's being studied by them to
Mhm.
keep until they better understand it. They want to understand the facts. And the difference between them and us is for them, yes, it's real and solid, but for us, it's completely insane and crazy. And even if those scientists or those people in a lab somewhere were able to come to a group of us and say, hey, can you hold on just a second? I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Okay. So if those people were to come and say, hey, to the vast majority, this is real, they would a lot of the people, you would have different reactions, first of all, among the general populace, but a lot of them would say, even if they could prove it was real, I have done things and said, hey, here it is, this is a fact, it's real. People are like, I don't believe it. Even if you could show how it's real, they still wouldn't believe it. There are things happening just in general in our society right in front of our faces, which you know, it's miraculous and real, and yet the majority of people are like, I don't believe it, even though they've seen it with their own eyes, even though they've touched it with their hands. They're still like, you know what? I choose to see that this is not real and available to me, and they will go. It presents as a trauma. So,
Oh,
anyways,
presents as a trauma.
teleportation. What's that?
I said presents as a trauma.
Yes,
So
yes.
all right. So that's an interesting point because trauma actually has, in some cases, an effect on the imagination of what's
Mhm, mhm,
possible.
mhm,
So that could be uh paralysis of the,
mhm,
that's why it's
mhm,
stuck. So when you're saying we have been programmed,
mhm,
and I'm gonna add it like with a performance code, which has
mhm.
its restrictions in there, right? So we need to eliminate the restrictive programming from our minds, get rid of saying we can't. So my question for you
Mhm.
is, now at this point in the conversation, is to qualify for teleporting, what actually has to move? The body, our consciousness, or just our perspective? I mean, does astro projection or whatever it is called qualify as teleporting? Because your consciousness and your perspective can literally, and I may be using the wrong term,
Mhm.
excuse me.
Mhm. No, I
Um,
understand what you're saying because that's a conversation I've had also. Is usually when I say teleportation, immediately that is the first thing that people say is, "Oh, of
mhm,
course, we do astral projection all the time." No, it's not the same thing. It is a kind, yes, okay, if you will, depending on who you're talking about. Sure, fine, let's split hairs. Sure, it's surely a kind of teleportation, but it's not the teleportation where say if you're astral projection, I'm in my living room and I transport myself to another place, another planet, another city, another town.
mhm.
If I wanted to do some planet interplanetary traveling, I could surely astral project to whichever planet I wanted to go to, and
Interplanetary motion.
yes, and experience what was there. And I have done that in the past. However, physical teleportation, um, honestly, this is these are all theories that I have not yet brought into realization. So I'll be very transparent and honest right there.
Mhm.
It's just the knowledge of, when you build something, an idea or anything, the knowledge comes, it stacks up, and then you start to put it together. So what's happening for me is this is an idea that I've had for many years. I know it's possible, but how? And over time, as I open my mind, open my heart to the possibilities and the reality of it, more knowledge, more information comes as to how I can do this with my physical body. One way that was brought to me a few years ago was portals. So we have access to portals in our energy field, in our space. The more you make yourself accessible in your body to these energy fields, to opening energy fields, you can create a portal which can take you to where you want to go. That's one thing. The thing about the portal is you have to be careful where you're going. You know, you may not, if you're not trained in the body and the mind and how to bring it all together safely, you could end up anywhere. You know, one time I went to do some exercises to open a portal, and the spirit said, "Stop, stop, wait, you're not ready." And I said, "What?" And they said, "Well, you know, you're going in, but who's coming out?" I
Right.
said, "Oh, wow." And then all of a sudden, I started to find more information about entities passing through the portal, you know, that are not all benevolent. They're not here to do what they say they're here to do, you know. So you have to be careful with that. And those are very real things, abstract to so many, but real when you dive into it. So we do have to be ready in a sense in our bodies, in our minds to do these things. A lot of the chaos that's happening today is because people are opening portals and don't even realize they're opening portals. They don't even know that they're doing it. There's a lot of people practicing witchcraft and sorcery and all kinds of things, and they're just playing around and having a good time, but they're completely unaware what they're doing. They don't know that there are living beings everywhere surrounding
Everywhere.
them, and they're not even, you know, so they're like, I don't understand why there's all this chaos going on in my life. I don't understand what just happened. Or the thing slips out and goes off somewhere, and people are losing their minds, going crazy, you know, for various reasons. You know, we
Mm.
talked about a little bit of that last night, but it's, and back bringing it back to the teleportation. Um, we have to be careful, you know, what portals we open. Then there's the whole, you know, the transfiguration where you can be here and then you can reappear somewhere else. That is
Reappear like
something that
entirely.
it reappear entirely. And that is something that I not quite ready to speak on. However, I do know that it has something to do with mastering the body completely. And it has to do with the idea of what planet Earth is as well. Like, gosh, the words, what this reality really is. Is it real? Like so many scholars and people say none of this is real. Like if
A
you read the,
simulation.
yeah, it's a simulation. If you read the the book, and I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's very popular. Anyways, none of this is real.
Mm.
And so if you realize that, then you can pretty much command your body at will to go anywhere and to do anything as soon as you realize who you are in this reality
So
and what you can do in this reality. It's
let me ask you this.
mastership over the flesh.
Let me ask you this based around that
Mm-hmm.
conversation, because it's perfect segue, because this is what I was thinking. You know, everybody knows I be taking my little notes while we talk, and I be like, so I be jotting down my
Mm-hmm.
ideas. So what made me think when you were speaking about a moment ago
Mm-hmm.
was the presence felt, like, not only from the broadcast, like, well, I guess it wouldn't be the broadcaster, but the viewer, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the proper term. When when we go somewhere and
Mm-hmm.
we're actually there, we can feel that we're there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also, there's times when people sense something is here,
Mm-hmm.
like they're on the receiving end, the other side of the portal,
Mm-hmm.
or the viewer, right? And they can feel that, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's like, whoa, I just felt, whoa, 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 somebody touch, you know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
my question is, because now I'm thinking, oh, magnetics.
Mm-hmm.
We got the magnetic fields, the all this electricity. We have a magnetic field of Earth. circuits, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could actually physically be there,
Mm-hmm.
but it be your magnetic field slash aurora where maybe the physical body never left.
Right.
What? How does that? I'm
Yeah.
thinking about that
So is that more,
gateway.
that's still more, so like I'm sitting here in the living room and I'm talking to you, or I'm sitting on my couch just relaxing, and then my physical body stays, but I decide I want to travel to some other place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And using magnetics or whatever, but I never leave here. I go to this other place. So that is astral projection. It's another form of astral projection. In fact, speaking
Did
on the
you
astral
really never
projection,
leave though? Because what
you,
you is you. The
hmm right,
the
right. There's a guy. He's a professional, and he's hired by different companies all around the globe. I just listened to him just before I left Seattle. It was in February or so, and he was saying that his business is actually to go to astrally, he and a team of other people astrally project themselves. I can't remember the name or anything, but I just was reminded by what you said, to go and to heal different energy systems in different places. Like, say if there's something going on in another country,
mm,
or some other situation that's like a crisis or whatever, they a group of people actually projected this place to heal or to solve problems. And I think the conversation we were having at that specific time was about Ghost Ranch, Skinwalker Ranch type stuff, you know,
okay.
where there's the skinwalkers and they're trying to figure out, what's going on there, why all these weird anomalies and stuff like that. And it was very interesting because I just thought, wow, a team of people together that go to travel and be a part of such events and to heal energies and to stop things from happening. And then I myself was being introduced to a team when I was in Arizona, of people who would come together and do pretty much the same thing, but that never got off the ground. So, but I was introduced to these ideas of like, wow, what could people do as a team if we did this together? Say for instance, going to different places astrally and stopping crimes or solving problems or getting rid of, whatever. But that might not be something that we want to talk about right now in this moment.
Nah,
But
I think people do that
anyway,
daily,
yeah.
whether they
Mhm.
realize it or
Mhm.
not.
Mhm.
Being
Mhm.
transducers in a
Mhm.
network,
Mhm.
we're continuously in the circuit. So
Mhm.
information is flowing through us either consciously or subconsciously,
Mhm.
in and out. So I
Yes.
think people do that anyway, which is actually another part of, you know, the thought of teleportation, because the consciousness factor, you know,
Mhm.
the fact that, all right, so some of the pyramids and ziggurats have been claimed to be teleportation devices and stuff.
Mhm.
So were they physically leaving, or was their conscious going somewhere? And then now we're introducing the magnetic field theory, we'll call it, where if you think about a magnetic field, you could actually be enough frequency on the other end to move objects. So maybe some of the
Mhm. I
poltergeist
believe
movie
I
things is
believe all
someone.
that's possible.
Watch,
Yeah.
watch this. Tell me what you think about this. Maybe some of the like the poltergeist movie things and where
Mhm.
things are ghosts flying, throwing stuff across the
Mhm.
room, is someone in a wash cycle of these
Mhm.
experiences, not knowing how to control it, and they just teleport to
Mhm.
some random place or maybe the same
Mhm.
random place, and they're
Mhm.
wilding out because they can't control
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
the magnetic body,
Right.
right? And they're like
Yes.
things are flying
And
across the room and
that's happening all the time. I believe that's happening all the time, and we just don't know it. We don't know it.
shit.
We don't understand it. And I
Right.
think it's been happening throughout centuries, and different cultures and people have had a way of explaining what that is, but they were
Mm,
all slaughtered and gotten rid of. So now white folks is trying to figure out, well, how is this happen? Well, you killed the people who could explain it to you best. You just slaughtered them all and told them that they were nothing. They were cavemen. Now here you are years later, writing books and making millions of dollars off of exploiting other people's culture, and describing things that they had a whole way of talking about, a whole way of living in this ideas in this realm. It was known, right? and now it's all secret and taboo, and you're crazy if you're talking about it, unless you're a scientist working in a lab with various powerful people who do know these things and they are real, right? But it has to stay not real because honestly, I do feel like the way we are as humans, creatures on this planet, because we're not all human, living together here, if we all could do these things without the depth of control of our egos and other things, it could be really bad. Look what we're doing with guns. I'm not against them, but I'm just saying everybody shouldn't have one, because they're not right. So can you imagine the power to teleport in the hands of people who are not mentally stable or right? Um, I don't think there's a way to control it, but if there was a way and there was a and there is a supreme intelligence who could divinely orchestrate the knowledge and the whether these things are available to us, I would say we have it. But now we're coming to a season in our history on this planet where these things might be needed. They might be necessary because we're destroying the planet with the fossil fuels and the different things. We have to find a different way to travel to get around. I don't want to live inside the metaverse. I don't want to go. I mean, this all ties into that, right? This all ties into that. Hey, instead of physically being able to teleport, why don't we create a computer system called the Matrix where everybody can go in and do business and have fun and do everything just like they would in the real world? Well, I love trees. I want to touch trees. I want to smell flowers and grass. So you telling me I have to go into a computer simulation to do this? Hell no. But so many people are opting for that because it's powerful. So what
It
if
brings
and
brings
and
back to the
and the reason
simulation theory.
right and the reason why is to save energy, to save power, to save now because you don't have to get in your car and drive, we don't need gas anymore. But we will need something to support this infrastructure of this metaverse, which in turn will cause the same problem. I mean, it might take a while, but it'll cause the same problem as what we already have. We just slowed it down a little bit. But if you could teleport with your physical body, you know, then you could say, I'm just going to go to Hawaii. I'm just going to go to France. I'm just going to go to Sweden or wherever, Africa, and I'll be back for dinner. And you didn't need a car. You didn't need to ride a bicycle. You didn't need to do anything. You could take your bicycle if you wanted to. You could teleport that with you. How to do it is the question. But all these things I think have to be looked at, in terms of how does this fit into our society? Can we develop a gateway where people who are going to teleport only can teleport through the gateway system? They have to be tracked, da 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 da, so that we keep everybody's safety in mind. Does it have to be regulated or can we just do it?
Mm.
All of these are questions that people are going to want to have answers to because even though I'm having the thoughts that I'm having, someone else is thinking, I don't feel safe knowing that there's people teleporting all over the place. I don't feel safe knowing that somebody could just come show up at my house. And what about people in prison? You know, can they teleport? What if this guy's a serial killer? Now he's teleporting all over the world, right? So these are questions. Once again, I just wanted to talk about how, but you brought up some good ideas which take you into the broader picture of, okay, yeah, we can teleport, but should we?
I think in the past it's been done.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes.
because we're of that creed that there's nothing new under the sun,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
question
For
is,
sure.
what did they use it for?
To get around, I'm sure, to travel,
Goods.
to communicate, goods, services, everything, everything. I mean, as many, like, look where we are today, and if we are unable to, for instance, you can use the pandemic as a great reference, where we couldn't go anywhere, we couldn't do anything. On one hand, you could say that teleportation could have probably sped up people getting sick because people could just zip in and out and go wherever they want, spread a disease much faster. But let's say that there was a protocol to make it so that people could teleport safely without having to worry about that. Then
mm,
people could, better get around the world to do the things that they needed to do without putting themselves on a plane with hundreds of other people to infect them, with a disease where they could just quickly go to the place they wanted to go to and then get back, you know, or you want to go to the store, you want to travel, you want to go places, you would have quickly been able to instantaneously come and go where you needed to go without bothering or touching everything.
it
You know,
definitely
I don't know if that
it
makes sense.
yeah, it definitely would allow the marketplace and the workplace to explode because like in the next thing to do is have like at least in the continental region, right? When you
Mm-hmm.
got like those three cities, like they almost form like a triangle on the map, they're gonna, that's
Mm-hmm.
where the high speed rails go to play. So it might took you 2 hours to drive there, 3 hours to drive to one.
Mm-hmm.
In theory, you'll be able to get there in like 30 minutes. So what
Right.
used to be a cross city commute, now the talent pool can hop to that next city over, and it changes the dynamics of who can work where. So
Mm-hmm.
teleportation would be like a exponential increase on that
Mm-hmm.
luxury
Mm-hmm.
and the taxes that come with it. But you brought up a good point when you
Mm-hmm.
said safety. So I want to ask
Mm-hmm.
you this because we all, well, I am gonna say we all, but many of us remember the movie The Fly, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, yeah.
So
Wow.
what's the chances? Are we gonna merge into something else? We got about 10 minutes left here. So what's the risk factors of teleportation that you know of now? The
Um,
potential.
well, the risk factors in teleportation are the same risk factors that already exist. The risk factors for the getting in your car and going somewhere where you will harm someone, the risk factors of, I mean, we saw that movie with Samuel Jackson and the kid Jumper, I think it was.
Mhm.
Did you see that Jumper or Jump, where the kid was teleporting? He figured out that he could teleport. Actually,
I
yeah,
saw the
he
trailers for it.
figured out that he could teleport. Then he found out his mom was a teleporter, and then there was actually a teleportation police, and they actually had signatures of the people. They had a system set up where they could see the signatures of the teleporters, and
Uh,
whenever they found them, they would go and get them. They would find them and take them in, take them down because they couldn't have these people just running free, and teleporting. And they would kill them, because they were like, you're an anomaly, you can't exist, blah, blah, blah. But maybe in a more humane world, um, we could have a system where people could be safe. You would have a teleportation badge, security, a signature, if you will, like a fingerprint system. So and so is teleporting from here to there. That way, I can't go rob a bank or fly to Zurich and do something crazy, and to be like, well, I was here the whole time. See, I've been
right.
sitting here all day. No, you actually, we have you on record as, having gone to such and such a place, and you've done this because we have your heat wave signature on file or something like that. Um, and they talk about chipping people, and then you got the whole
Are you
crypto.
are you saying that's
It,
why it's coming?
I, you know, I told you, I don't know if I told you about my experience when I crossed the street, and they told me, oh God, to share this experience. So I
Mm,
had an edible, and I went for a walk. And on my way back home from my long walk, there's an intersection in West Seattle, and you can cross any way you want to cross. You just enter the street and just do whatever you want to do. So when
mm,
the light turned red, I went to cross the street and I stepped off the sidewalk. And as I was crossing in the middle of the road to the other side, I was I entered another dimension and I was talking to myself. I was walking across the street with myself, and myself was telling me, okay, so there's the pandemic, and it was covering the idea that this pandemic was a conspiracy. And they were like, no. That is not the conspiracy. This conspiracy is the tracking that's going to be taking place. It's not going to happen. It's not. It's happening. It's being produced now, but it will actually be put into place within the near future. Everybody will be given a number. You will be number so and so, and then they will be able to go and say so number so and so and so and so is here. They're there. This person is over here, and that is the mark, so to speak, the mark of the
Mhm.
beast or whatever you want to call it, and that is coming. And I walked from one side of the street. I entered this field, and I was crossing the street. It seemed like it was a few hours, but it was just a few minutes that it took me to cross the street. And then I stepped back up off the curb, and then I was out, and I was like, what the heck just happened? And then I walked, I was like, let me get my ass home because I don't know what's going on, but I just had this vision. I was with myself and we were talking, and she said, this is what's happening, this is what's coming. Now, I am a big picture person. I am not, I do conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff, but I don't believe in saying something's bad or good just because a bunch of people don't like it. Um, I don't necessarily want to be tracked. But when you honestly look around at the world and what we have right now, can you say that you wouldn't mind tracking the son of a bitch who came into your house and stole everything you had?
Yeah, it's called
Finding
a
out
9 mil or
every,
45. We're
well,
gonna track
but
them
you
down
know,
right there. There
but
they
you know
go.
what I mean? What if you weren't home when it happened, right? What if you weren't home when it happened? You don't have the security system up, but you have your TV, your recording studio up there, and somebody comes to the place, takes all your stuff, and you get home and you're like, my shit is gone. You go to the police can say, yeah, hold up. Okay, so here's the people, here's the signatures that were in your apartment at this time. We've got this signature tracked at these places. Your stuff is being brought back to you now because there's
Okay.
no mystery.
So they do have that technology for your
Mm-hmm.
stuff with RFID
Mm-hmm.
and the
Mm-hmm.
increase in the 5G network where they'll be able
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
pinpoint anything anywhere pretty much in that network by shortly. But if you get the RFID chips or you can chase everything, people getting a
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
another conversation on that later. But
Mm-hmm.
what I what I what I really am like paying attention to is you're telling me things that many of us on YNet 7 know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but what's different is fuck, all of this could be coming because the teleportation and stuff like that is coming. Because my question would have we got about
Mm-hmm.
4 minutes here. So
Mm-hmm.
my question real quick, what happens if you get lost? I know that's part of like the training factor of like being ready to go when the time comes, whether it's a you just poof, you know what I mean? What happens if you poof and
Mm-hmm.
you just get stuck? Like you know how sometimes you go to turn your cell phone on or the computer says it didn't start right or some shit like
Mm-hmm.
that. Like what happens if you go poof and you just stuck in the
Well, that could be the paradox. What if
so
there's no answer to that?
now you need to be
What if
tracked.
that's yeah. Well, then tracking would find you. If you get lost, tracking would find you. You could have a device that says, "Oh shit, I'm lost," and then you press the safety button, and like the people who go up to Mount Everest and all these crazy mountains and get up there and die and get lost and stuff. Somebody knows they're up there. The rescue team goes and gets them. You have a button that you can press and say, "I'm up here and I can't get down," or "I'm out here and somewhere and I ended up on Pluto." Somebody press the button and get me back. Type of
I
thing.
see Ghostbusters sliding the trap out, pulling down the
Hmm.
pulling down the ectoplasmic energy. All right. So closing remarks.
Yeah, there's so many
You got
things.
something coming up too though.
Yes. Okay. So, oh gosh, so many things. I have some books on sale. If you go to my website, tamarazenobia.com, I have some books on sale on Amazon that you can get. I have some music on sale. I do meditation, vocal sound healing. Also, I'm in a contest. I'm Fab over 40, and actually, the cutoff is tomorrow for me to make it into the next thing. But if you want to donate to the National Breast Cancer Foundation, you can do that via my website. Just click on the link, it'll take you there. Also, I have a fundraiser to establish my new studio in Alaska, where I'm currently located. So, all that is there. And yeah, visit my website. Everything about me, everything you want to know. If you want to book a session, tarot and divination readings are now 50% off. So that's a good deal for those who know my readings. Get on there. Everything you need is all there.
She's
Website,
going.
tamarazenobia.com.
So we're gonna make sure all the links are in the description for
Mm-hmm.
everybody. Um, I can account. Well, one, you can see she's fab over 40, so make sure you go and support her there on that register. And then she has music that is like frequency, but she
Mm-hmm.
also uses her voice. You gotta check it out. I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing craft. It's holistic and therapeutic. And um, she was one of the first people I personally know that has copper pyramids, the whole nine energy. Like, just check out our page. You'll see she's got everything you need for you. We'll have the links in the description below. Closing remarks, 20 seconds on teleportation.
Everybody, listen to your intuition, dig in, and find out what you can do. It's all inside. It's really true. You're everything you need to learn is inside, and you connect with what's outside, and you combine that knowledge. Yes.
And that in itself is teleportation of our instincts. We just got to
Mm-hmm.
reconnect and accept. Pasha Paroh, Tamara Z,
Mm.
thank you for tuning.
Yes.
Enjoy.